And welcome back to the hottest mirror show in our neighborhood. It's I, John D. N.
Kanika.
A.K.A. In Too Much Podcast. Rescripting the culture one conversation at a time. How are you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So how has your last 7 days been? I say your last 7 days, like if you were to check in with yourself, how's your last 7 days been? Is it where you thought you would be, or you got a lot of room for like where you want to go? I'm just trying to figure out like mental check-in. I guess I saw this, I remember one of the shows I used to watch, they used to always do like a number check-in. I was wondering, where's your check-in? I know I'm your husband and all, but I don't really be knowing, because if you don't say nothing, I don't really check in with you. And I guess this was kind of off guard too.
It was. I don't like off guard. I'd say in the last week I've been maybe like 6, 7.
No doubt.
How about you? Out of 100? No, I don't know.
I'm probably a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
Between 7 and 8.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was just I wanted to ask that because I feel like I should know better. Because if I know, maybe I can just help curve some of that why it's not a 9. I don't want you to, like sometimes people feel like they're alone.
Oh yeah, no, I don't feel like I'm alone. No. I don't know. I just think it's just life is lifing. And to me, it's always a constant adjustment trying to figure out how to manage different things. So I've been doing pretty well with identifying problems and then finding the solution for that and moving on to the next problem. So it's not bad.
No doubt. I mean,
is there something I should be doing to help you get to it now?
Oh, no, I know what mine is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just me getting better in the areas I want to get in. Like,
in public health, we learn in taking surveys and stuff like that, in developing surveys and understanding the results, is that oftentimes, you don't want to put that you're at a 10 because things could be better. People tend to, if it says strongly agree, or neutral, people will go to the agree rather than the strongly agree, unless it's something that's really to the core of them. And I tend to do that whenever I fill out stuff and somebody asks me on a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm never going to give you the highest, because I feel like there's always something that can linger in. Yeah. And I'm not going to give you the mistaken idea that I'm all the way together. So I understand that. Yeah. You would say that I'm like, at 7, 8, because I can always get to a 9, 10. I'm working toward the 9, 10. I'm with that.
For sure. I guess that brings me to the topic I wanted to ask you about. Our kids are getting to that age where they're going to leave. And, of course, nobody talked about mental health awareness for the most part in our community growing up. And I don't think the kids have anything to be stressed out in my mind, but they have their own things that I'm not even aware of. So I don't want to ever discredit whatever they're going through. So what are some things that you feel like could be beneficial to them when they leave? Like if you were to die today, and what messages do you think that you've been trying to pass on for them to be like, my mother was giving me this. This is why, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think you want them to have? Or let's say if they're not mature enough to understand that, and then you die and you're like, this is what your mother wanted you to know. She wanted you to have this because this is what she felt like was intricate for you to be successful in life.
I would say the first thing is your life is not like a house, in the sense that, you don't call the fire department unless the house is burning down, right? Unless there's a fire. However, we also know that what comes before the fire, or what you see before the fire, is the smoke. So when I'm thinking about mental health, especially with the history of mental health that I've experienced with family and with myself, you're not a burning house. Seek out help before you're falling apart. When I was growing up, I know nobody ever talked to me about therapy. And I don't think I even felt like I needed it. But I do believe in it. And sometimes I think that we see it as one of those things that's a last resort, but I think that it should be put before everything else. Sometimes it's gaining perspective of what's going on to know how to handle your life. And I think that a lot of the times I found myself to be someone who I'm juggling a lot of things in the air. And when it gets to be to the point where I think I'm about to start dropping, then I'm like looking for help. But I knew long before that some things were shaky. I knew when I was tossing more stuff into the rotation, I shouldn't have been. And I've never sat down with the kids and really said, like, they know I've been to therapy. They know, like right now, I'm overwhelmed with a lot of things, like the transition of the kids. I've had a death in my family that opened up maybe a new responsibility for me that I don't necessarily know how to deal with. And so before, I think I was fine with keeping all the balls in the air, and just a couple of things got kind of tossed in there. And I don't feel solid. And what I'm figuring is that there are things in there that really aren't my responsibility, or they're really not something I need to worry about anymore. But I'm still holding on to it and making it something that some people don't even want things from me or me to worry about them. Like, they've moved on and I'm still stressed. And so sometimes I think I just need somebody who can hear all of what I have to say and then sort out. It's like somebody who hoards, and then somebody comes in and sorts out all the junk, and then they say, this is the stuff that you need, right? And like, yes, that's what I need. And I think I'm at a point where I'm hoarding other people's things, their needs, their concerns, their stories, their stressors, and I'm making it a part of me on a daily, and nobody's even asking me to do it. In addition to the things that are just naturally going to be my stressors. So I would say that don't be afraid of therapy, and don't think that it's supposed to be one of the last things you do. I think bouncing things off of someone who is completely unattached, yes, neutral to everything is key. And I think that if we put that on the front end of when we get stressed rather than on the back end, we would relieve ourselves of a lot of issues. We're not a burning building where you call the fire department in to put the fire out. Like, we're supposed to be maintaining. And I guess I just don't want them to be afraid or feel like it's somebody you go to when you're sick or when everything is gone too far. No, it's something that it's a tool, and it's like a first level tool to me. So I would definitely say that that's something that I want them to know. I don't want them to be afraid, because they talk to me about a lot of things. And if I were to be gone today at this very moment, I want them to feel like they can still do that. And I know that you all are still working on how you want to communicate with each other. But I'm saying in the meantime, in between time, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
I like that. I think that the message I get that you want them to know is that we are the first line of defense.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what it looks like, we don't want you to be in trouble, and we want to help you. We're not going to run from it. We're going to deal with whatever we can. But overall, we didn't grow up that way.
No.
You know, our parents were not the first line of defense. And I don't know how many kids grow up where they don't feel like they could tell their parents everything because of whatever life they're living.
Well, I could tell my mom a lot of things, but not everything.
That's what I'm saying. But wouldn't you, no matter what it is, looking now, wouldn't you want Dan Dallas to come and ask you for something if it was over their head?
Well, I think that's already established. Like, we had talked before about how, you know, I would want to walk beside them and help guide them through things. But I'm saying, if I'm not here, if you're not here, I don't want them to try to hold everything up and figure it out on their own. They don't have to. That's why there's a whole profession behind helping people to sort out what's going on with them. So yeah, I want to be the first line of defense, but if I'm not here,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you're not here to be able to use.
Yeah, I want them to be able to prioritize that. I want them to not prioritize that. I want them to see it as a real tool. So I'm not here, you're not here, first line of defense. It's okay. Even if it is not about grieving us or whatever, therapy is not your last. To me, get on that thing early. That's
even before the smoke.
Even before the smoke, even when you feel like it's just like, this is, there have always been times where I've been going through something and I'm like, I'm not going to talk to my friends about that. I'm not going to talk to my friends about this or that. Like, they don't understand. Sometimes people are like, well, I have friends. I don't need to talk no there. No, I think that there are things in your life that you need somebody that's completely removed from everything, because your friends are going to, they may advise you in a way that's not the most appropriate or healthy or keeping everything into perspective of what is right. And so I'm saying I'm no longer the first line of defense if I'm not here. I'm saying you are your first line of defense. So protect yourself at all costs. If you feel like things are overwhelming, go to the people who can listen and bounce things back to you so you can see. Sometimes you can't see until somebody gives you what you vomit all this stuff onto them and then they reflect it back to you. And you be like, that is so crazy. I didn't even, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
I got you.
But what would you say?
If they don't got it, they didn't work hard enough for it. I think like your environment can make you feel like you're working hard because people can reward you because you did something. But I've been in so many situations where I've been a part of being rewarded for things that it was the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So I know our kids are doing well in school, but as they get older, I think that there's going to be times where they're going to get awards or whatnot. I don't want them to think that it can always get better. That's what I want. I want them to know that it can always get better. Nothing to stress yourself out over, but something you can work on a little bit every single day. It can get better. I think when I look at my peak prior to coming back, I was in a fixed mindset. Never thought about getting better. I never thought about how to improve. And I don't want them I want them, like, when you hit this plateau, you like, why can't I get over this hump? I need them to know there's always something that you can work on. Like, if you haven't found it, you can go get the help, like you said, but there's always a way. And I think a lot of times when people feel like I don't have the answers, they don't feel like there's a way to just to get over the hump. Like, to me now, I feel like I've seen what the hump looks like. I feel like it's nothing more rewarded than getting past that part, because then you're really open to any and everything for help. Like, I was just thinking about how I was not afraid, but I didn't use the hospital as an adult because we just didn't practice that. It made me feel like I was going to have to pay money, and my health was like, I'm okay. If ain't nothing broken.
Right.
So I was just looking at how I want them, like, whatever we're given, it's going to be something else. It's going to be some type of ceiling we're creating for them.
So how do you balance that with the saying that sometimes things aren't meant for you, even if you want them? So you said if you don't have them, you didn't work hard enough for them. But what about things that may not have been the best for them, and it's just like they're being blocked from having that because that's not for them? Do you not believe in there being things that are not for you? Could want something and it not be the best thing for you?
I feel like if you worked for it the right way, then it is supposed to be for you. Like, the only way it's not for you is if you don't do it the right way. And the right way is not being compromised. Like, you're not like selling yourself short for a shortcut. Like, I think whatever they want to do, it's probably going to be the right thing. But if they didn't get there, I don't think like they're going to like try to get a mansion and sell some keys of coke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know as long as they do it the right way, they're supposed to have it. But if they didn't get it, it's because they didn't put the work that was required to get there. And that's with anything. It wasn't just this thing. It's like whatever you move on to, it's still going to require what you needed over there. That's what I want them to have. Like, no matter what you want, that may not have been for you. You figured that part out. But what are you going to use that you needed to get there for whatever you want to do? Because you're going to get to this point again. And are you going to move on to the next one, or are you going to get over this part? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you want them to just be able to have some follow through.
Completely.
Yeah.
But the follow through, it's always going to be a hump.
Yeah.
You got to know what it takes to get over that hump. And like, whatever you get to, like, once you feel like, the process is like, okay, I'm going to get to this at some point. What are my resources? What can I bounce off of to know that, okay, it's not going to happen on the first time, but I know that instead of like, okay, this isn't for me. Are you putting in the work to get over the hump, or you just think because you've been there long enough, somebody's supposed to just open the door for you?
Now, I would think about that in going to college, choosing majors, careers, things like that. Is there a point where you're like, okay, if you find that, like we talk about how people have a certain major, they think they want to do something, they push through, and then they realize this isn't really what
are they pushing through for? Their parents pushing them through? Like, is this something?
Like, okay, so as an example, there were plenty of people we went to school with. They went after a major. They didn't do really well in the classes or whatever. I changed majors 3 times because I was going to find the way, right? But there's some people who they drop out. That's not the follow through maybe that you're thinking of.
No, well, I feel like this. If you drop out of school, there has to be a better option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has to make sense. You don't just drop out because you feel, I'm not a school person. What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
Like if not, you better just keep paying until you figure this out, because you not paying you're not reading books. Do you have some type of routine that says, okay, I'm going to get.
But I'm about to go for this though. So then my question is this. So say, people, we get in the junior year and you're like, I've gone this far. I'm just going to finish this degree out and go on. Now they got the follow through, but they didn't get anything from that because they leave, go home, work for the state of Michigan or whoever, like work for, some.
Well, this degree is only supposed to open up another door. Mm-hmm. It's not supposed to be the end.
But if you don't even like it,
but
you're just finishing it because if you start, you better finish.
Okay, so I'm saying if you have this degree, it still opens up doors with them not having it. I don't know what you learned in that time without completing the degree, what connections you made. It was like, man, somebody's going to pull for this kid that don't want to finish school. But the degree, regardless, to me, is an opportunity. If you don't have that degree, you got to do some other type of song and dance for somebody to say, hey, this kid got something. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm curious. Even in thinking of people who wanted a relationship with somebody and they were doing everything they possibly could to be in this relationship.
Oh, that's different though.
Right.
Like,
so we talking about pursuits of like
anything that they have control over with their effort.
Oh, okay.
With their effort. Like, you can't control it somebody else.
And then that's another lesson of understanding what you can control and what you can't.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now, I'm not saying you can't change this person's mind, but it's going to take, if it's difficult, it's something that you don't know. That's why it's difficult. Because if you knew it would be a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? It's not like this person is just making it difficult for you. You don't have something that this person's looking for. Because if you did, you would probably disguise it, or you realize it ain't even worth your time. So to me, the follow through of, because to me, this is what, and I didn't learn that part until the diet. I didn't realize to me, that was probably the most difficult thing I've ever done. Like, to feel like, that's what it is. Because once you get there, you understand, I understand why everybody's here. Like, it's kind of like a mental war. You're like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to do this. But if you can ever detox long enough where you be like, I can't believe those are real drugs. That's why, if the kids don't have to worry about their diet when they get older, I think makes a different person too. Because I see people that beat themselves up over that. And, gym rats that be in like, okay, we're gonna do it again, and then by middle of February, like they just wasted membership money and whatnot.
So those are definitely not the gym rats.
No. Oh no, I get it. Oh no, but I'm saying like there's more of you.
But in January, there's more of me's in there than. Yeah, I get you on that.
Yeah, so to me, I feel like even if they had that problem with that, they'll understand it's a process to push over. Like, that's why he said this was the most difficult, because you can look around and see who's still on it. You know what I'm saying? Because who wants that story? So yeah, that's what I would want them to have.
The father. Yeah, I would want them to have it.
Anything else on your mind that you think you could want the kid to have?
Maybe. But God willing, I'm alive tomorrow. I'll think through it. That's one of the things I tell him I don't like, when he springs things on me about if everything ended tomorrow. Because truthfully, it could end right now. And I will not have thought about it enough. So it makes me want to think about it. And then another thing is, you say the kids will have all of these recordings of us to know what we were thinking. They have to sort through a lot.
I'm saying, but tell me this. If hypothetically your mother finds these recordings of her mother's talking about when you stole your mother, she has these recordings and it comes up, it would excite you. Yeah. You were like, how old was this? How old were they? And so to me, I feel like this is your welcome.
Well, in this case, I think there may be other messages I want them to know.
Oh, for the churches out, they'll be, something like because they'll be able to go through this. But if they listen to it, they'll be like, dang, they was trying to give us everything. So to me, I feel like this is something that any family can do, though.
Yeah.
You don't have to publish anything. You can just, hey, this is our page. Mm-hmm. Whenever you get older and you feel like you want, or if we die, this is some stuff. I'm like, what kid? I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I
want to hear my mama's voice again.
Look, I'm so mad that when my dad died, I cut his phone bill off like immediately, and that was his voicemail, his last voicemail, and it was gone. And I didn't even think about it because I was just the idea of having these, like, man, these kids are gonna love this. I know I would.
I would.
Like,
now we found, like, we have cassette tapes of my grandmother singing, and I love listening to it when I'm around somebody with a cassette player. My mom has put it on CDs now, but it's so nice to hear her voice. Even in the background, I remember, it'd be like revival or the concert night, and the choir's just singing all night or whatever. And my grandmother used to record the services, and you could hear her in the background talking to my brother, or, singing or agreeing with the pastor or whatever. And I love her voice. And honestly, there are times when she's talking and I don't even recognize that it's her. It's been that long.
Wow.
So it is nice. I would, yeah. I think a lot of people now with social media, with their phones, it's so easy to record people. And your parents, as we're getting older in the generation behind us, before us, rather than saying behind us, they're recording a lot and they're posting. And so you still get that. They'll get that. And they'll get so many more opportunities than I did. But I agree with you. Even if ain't nobody publishing nothing, leaving a message here and there for your kids, I would love that.
Yeah, I think you would, like, if you did, you would give more grace to your parents for not knowing, because you'd be like, oh, that's where they were. Oh, and then you'd be like, oh, that was really, like, to me, in my head, like, I've never met a parent that wanted to hurt their kid on purpose.
Yeah.
So
want to get
you want them. Yeah, so if I can hear you, like, dang, that's why I said, like, this would really work with them, because they grew up, they actually was in our household. So they'd be like, ah.
Oh, so when they were telling us to be quiet while they were recording, this is what they were talking about. Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is gonna be instrumental in their life. Like, even when the time comes when we die, they know they have this. So, like, but hopefully this will make them more grateful for the moments we have because they are definitely acting like teenagers right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anybody want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No.
Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose.